This is my review for Legends Untold. I'm going to show the Weeping Caves Novice set here, but this is really a review for the whole Novice system for Legends Untold. So let's talk about let's talk about the components, then we'll talk about the good things and the bad things about the game. As far as the components, I like the box. The insert's a little weird. It fits the dice and stuff well, but some of these things like this could lay down, I guess, but it's kind of a weird box. Maybe they expected you to put the tokens in there, but it's hard to get them out. So, but overall, I think the box is good. The artwork on the cards is pretty good. I would say, like this one is an axe. I guess it looks different than your generic fantasy art, I would say. The cards here are pretty clear. There's the symbology and stuff is pretty clear, and the cards are nice. And the artwork on the characters is decent. So these are some of the expansion characters. They look good. Student looks really creepy. At least the male version of it. But this guy looks pretty like he's gonna I don't know, druid someone, or I don't know, something like that. And I would say I like the fact that they kind of use this bigger card size and less of them, because you can kind of see into it a little bit more. Dice were fine. The base dice were pretty generic, and the tokens were okay. But so I'd say overall the component quality is decent to good. Actually, the card quality is really good. These are pretty good quality cards. So let's move on to the gameplay. So the things that I really liked about the game were the way, I guess, the time mechanism. So in this game, you're going to have this deck of time cards. Let me try to find them. And you're going to go through these, and essentially the last card in the deck is going to be an event that happens. And then you're going to reshuffle this and go through it again. So you have some control over how fast these events come out, and they're usually, I think they're all bad. All the ones I've seen are bad. And more events will come out as you go through and as you spend more time doing things. And you can choose where to spend your time. You can spend it on sneaking. You can spend it on sometimes you pay for it with encounters. You pay for it in other aspects. I would say one of the bad things is about the events is that they seem they're all bad. I wish maybe there was, I guess they're bad or sometimes can be good. I wish there was more variety in that. That would be one of the negatives with that. The next thing I liked is I kind of liked the single deck system for fighting stuff. So essentially you build this deck at the beginning of a game. It's going to have your creatures, your discoveries, and your loot all in it, and traps. And essentially as you go through the game, you're going to be drawing cards from here, and those are what you find in the cave. I think that's a really good way of doing it. I think that's well done. And the third thing I liked about the game was the characters. So I like the fact that I think they did a good job with this. The characters aren't your typical RPG characters. They're, even the artwork, they look very, simplistic. Let me find some more of these. Yeah, right here. Like, you have a farmhand or a evicted noble. So a noble that was kicked out, or a forge hand. And I think that all these kind of give a unique feeling to the game versus other RPGs you may have played. Along with that, I like the way that the abilities are done with these. So you'll have your weapon that you can customize, you'll have items and armor you can customize, and then you'll have these abilities. Let me give some examples here. So we'll have, this person might have tough, and this one might, I guess this goes with noble, but the noble might have this ability, and these go with certain items or things, and they can be used in different ways. And this is also your health. So as you get weaker, you have less abilities to use. So I like how that system is done. So I think there's a lot of interesting things in terms of positives in the game. Now let's talk about the negatives. As far as things that could have been done better, I think that the combat system in here is not super intuitive compared to most games that you play. I think that there can be a lot of rounds of combat. It can be very, especially early in the campaign, it can be very difficult to defeat enemies. And maybe it's intentionally be that way, but it feels like every step's a struggle. And maybe that's part of the intention of the game, is that you're struggling a lot. But I do think it detracts from the fun, because a lot of it is you roll the dice and maybe you miss all of them, and the monsters attack you again. I also think that monster ranged attack are much more powerful than their melee attack because of how the combat system's done. So I think that those are a couple issues in the combat. The next thing I kind of had an issue with was I know that they were trying to simulate a computer RPG, and I think in some ways they did a very good job of doing it, but I think in some ways they maybe missed an opportunity. Let's take a look at. Let me see if I can find the card. So there's these cards. Actually, I don't even know where it is. But there's a card with all the symbols on it, and there's a lot of symbols in this game right here. Unfortunately, not all the symbols are on this one card, and sometimes it's not clear where you need to look. You might need to look at the back of some of these cards or some of these other cards. I have printed out from their website these flow diagrams to go through the game, because even after playing it a number of times, I still need to look at, how do you move through these phases of the game. And I would say that the way the phases are done, it replicates some of the stuff in a computer RPG, like with kind of these location-based stuff, and then a picture, and then things in the picture you can go to and do and exit. But in some ways, it maybe has more complication than is necessary in the mechanics of the game that are maybe unintuitive. And the final criticism is the way the campaign is done. So let's look at the rulebook campaign here. So we can go and see here. So you basically download this campaign sheet, and you're going to level up throughout the campaign, and you're going to play through, let's see if I have it here. You're going to play through, it's not even in this one, I think it's in here. So you're going to play through the Weeping Caves book. So each campaign goes like this. You will do the campaign. If you succeed, then level up and continue. If you fail, do not level up and play it again. And that, as far as I can tell, is the way that each episode is done. I think that they missed an opportunity here to have maybe a unique storytelling experience with the characters. And instead of it being you pass or fail on a level, it could be you move on, and you move on a different direction. Like maybe a different story unfolds, or there's something unique that happens to this person in your party. I think that might have been the real missed opportunity with this game, because a lot of the stuff is well done. Like there's a lot of detail on, even these cards. There's a lot of detail in terms of, what you roll. You get a whole bunch of different outcomes, just like you might in a computer RPG. Or there's a lot of detail spent on the scaling of the characters, the fight. But I think that detail could have been spent on the story and how it all comes together, and maybe simplifying a few of the mechanics throughout the game to make it more accessible to people. So overall, I'm going to give the game a 7 out of 10. I think that it has a lot of potential. Maybe with one of the expansions, they'll take some of this to heart and improve upon the areas that it does. But I think if you're, if you maybe really want the detailed mechanics of a computer RPG in a board game format, this is really good. It does play pretty well solo. You can see from my playthrough. Once you know what to do, it's about an hour a game, maybe 45 minutes to an hour, probably an hour including setup. And if you play with I'd probably recommend maybe 3 people in a party. That seems to be a good sweet spot because you have varying things. If you play with other people, you're probably looking at more like an hour and a half because you'll each have to make some decisions. So there you have it. That is my review of Legends Untold, the Weeping Caves Novice set. If you like this video, please like and please subscribe, and please take a look at our other videos. Thank you.